10 Deadly Chess Traps You Must Know. Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are walking through the most devious chess traps you need to know, either to make sure you never fall for them or to use them to utterly destroy your opponents. Let's dive right in. Trap 1, the Noah's Ark Trap. Starting off strong with trap number 1. If you want to make your opponent regret playing the Royal Ruy Lopez, this is where you start. It begins with pawn to e4, e5, knight to f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the classic Ruy Lopez. a6, bishop a4, d6, d4, striking the center right away and threatening to push d5. b5, bishop back to b3, now comes the bait, black plays knight d4. Giving white a supposedly chill way to get back his pawn after knight takes d4, e takes d4, and now white plays queen d4. If white doesn't play queen d4, then you just have an extra pawn, you push c5, you're up a pawn, simple as that. Now comes the surprise, c5, what a move! If white moves the queen back to d1, c4 traps the bishop, so white will try queen to d5, threatening your rook on a8. Bishop e6, same problem if he goes back, c4 traps the bishop, but what if he plays queen c6 check, bishop back to d7, now if he goes back to d5. c4 traps the bishop, goodbye bishop. Trap 2, Legal's Mate. Moving on to trap number 2, the most legendary psychological disaster in chess history, Legal's Mate. Because nothing says I didn't check my surroundings quite like giving away your royal majesty for free. It starts with pawn to e4, e5, knight to f3, knight c6, bishop c4, d6, knight to c3. Black here plays bishop g4 thinking he's pinning your knight. Now you play the calm h3 move. If he takes on f3, congratulations, you got the pair of bishops and you're going to have a great game, but what if he wants to keep the pin by playing bishop back to h5? Pause the video and try to find the brutal sacrifice here. It's knight takes e5, oh no, my queen, wow, what a move. Guess what? Black has zero good moves here. Many players seeing this for the first time think it's a free queen, so they take it. Then comes bishop takes f7 check, king e7 is the only move, and now comes the kill shot. Knight to d5 checkmate, absolutely disgusting. What if he takes knight takes e5? You take queen takes h5, knight takes c4, then you play queen b5 check, you pick up the knight on c4 and you're up a pawn. This must be an easy game for you. Trap 3, the Cambridge Springs Trap. Next up, trap number 3, the Cambridge Springs Trap. If you face Queen's Gambit players who think they own the board, this is your ultimate get-even card. It starts with pawn to d4, d5, c4, e6, the Queen's Gambit declined. Knight to c3, knight f6, bishop g5, pinning the knight. Now comes the bait, you play knight d7 saying, oh no, my pawn on d5. White immediately takes on d5, c takes d5, e takes d5, now white thinks that it's a free pawn, he says, wait, the knight is pinned, and plays knight takes d5. Stop the video and try to find black's brutal sacrifice. It's knight takes d5, sacrificing a whole queen, now we got a piece. If white goes back, you just won a piece, but what if he takes on d8, now comes the surprise, bishop b4 check. The only move to cover white's king is to play queen d2, giving back the queen. After queen d2, you play bishop takes d2 check, king takes d2, and now you pick up the bishop with king takes d8. You are up a full piece, easy win. Trap 4, the Lasker Trap. Coming in at trap number 4, the Lasker Trap. Even super strong, arrogant players fall for this one, and watching them crash is pure art. Pawn to d4, d5, c4, and then e5. D takes e5 is the main move for white. Other moves lose the center advantage, like if knight f3, you just push e4. Notice how before white had the center, but now you have the center. So after d takes e5, you push d4. Many players feel that the pawn on d4 is super annoying, so they want to get rid of it by playing e3. Now comes bishop b4 check. If knight d2, you take on e3, if he takes back, you play queen h4 check, g3, and now queen to e4. Look at white's pawn structure and king situation. He has doubled pawns and his king is completely crumbled. But what if white plays bishop d2 instead? Pause the video and find black's next fantastic move. It's pawn takes e3, oh no my bishop, sacrificing a whole piece. White takes on b4, bishop takes b4. Now you play e takes f2 check. If he takes the pawn, he loses the queen on d1. If he plays king to e2, now be very careful here, promote to a knight not a queen. Because if you promote to a queen, white will exchange queens on d8, queen takes d8, king d8, and now rook takes g1, white is actually better there. But after you promote to the knight with check, if white takes on g1, bishop to g4, he loses the queen anyway. And if he plays king back to e1, you play queen h4 check, he goes to d2, then knight c6 followed by long castle, and you have a full piece up. White will completely collapse in the next few moves. Trap 5, the Rubinstein trap. Moving to trap number 5, the Rubinstein trap. If you love playing the Queen's Gambit with white and want to watch black suffer in slow motion, you have to learn this one. It starts with d4, d5, knight to f3, knight to f6, c4, e6, bishop to g5, knight to d7, e3, bishop to e7, knight to c3, short castle, rook to c1, rook to e8, queen to c2, a6, c takes d5, e takes d5, bishop to d3, c6, short castle, knight to e4, bishop back to f4. Now black starts feeling way too comfortable and plays f5 to anchor that knight on e4. Big mistake, here comes the surprise. Pause the video and try to find the killer move. Got it, it's knight takes d5, what an absolute masterpiece. If black captures the knight, bishop to c7 completely traps black's queen, game over. And if black tries anything else, knight to c7 forks the king and rook, winning you the exchange. From here, it's an easy, sweet victory for you. Trap 6, the Siberian trap. Trap number 6, the Siberian trap. This is black's ultimate, cold-blooded secret weapon against white's aggressive Smith-Morra gambit. Prepare to freeze them out. It starts with e4, c5, d4, c takes d4, c3, d takes c3, knight takes c3, knight to c6, knight to f3, e6, bishop to c4, queen to c2, short castle, knight to f6. White now plays queen to e2, preparing to bring a rook to d1 to bully your king. But here comes the bait. You play knight to g4. Most white players panic here, thinking they just need to kick your knight away with h3. Big mistake. Pause the video and try to find black's brutal move. It's knight to d4, absolutely gorgeous. If white captures your knight with their knight, queen to h2 is instant checkmate. Boom, the only way for white to even survive is to play h takes g4, but then knight takes e2 check snaps up white's queen for free. Enjoy your winning game. Trap 7, the Fajarowicz gambit. Trap number 7, the Fajarowicz gambit. This is a super spicy, highly aggressive line of the Budapest gambit that absolute club-level destroyers live for. It starts with d4, knight to f6, c4, and now the surprise push, e5. White takes with d takes e5 and you jump knight to e4. White plays knight to f3, you play d6 and white greedily takes with d takes d6. You recapture with bishop takes d6. Now, Catalan players love to play g3 here to fianchetto their bishop, completely oblivious to the chaos loading. Pause the video and try to find black's brilliant sacrifice. It's knight takes f2. Guess what? White has 0 good moves left. If white takes the knight with their king, bishop to g3 check skewers the queen, and if white refuses to take the knight, your next move is picking up the free rook on h1. Just like that, you are completely winning. Trap 8, the Blackburne Shilling trap. Alright. Trap number 8, the Blackburne Shilling trap. I admit this trap is a little dirty and it requires you to play a move you definitely wouldn't want on your chess resume. But the Blackburne Shilling refutation is just like Mountain Dew. It might be refreshing and delicious, but it definitely doesn't look like the most natural thing in the world. It starts with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4. Now comes the bait, knight to d4. If white takes on e5, thinking it's a free pawn that also sets up an attack on f7, they've taken the bait. Pause the video and try to find black's fantastic response. It's queen to g4. Most players greedily snatch the pawn on f7 with their knight. Big mistake, you play queen takes g2, forcing rook to f1. Now comes the absolute headshot, queen takes e4 check. If white covers with the queen, you just take knight takes queen and take their knight on the next move. But if they cover with bishop to e2, knight to f3 is a gorgeous poetry in motion smothered mate. Wait, what if white plays bishop takes f7 check instead of taking with the knight? No problem, you just slide king to d8. Now black's queen is attacking two of white's pieces at the same time. Many players panic and play bishop takes g8. You just go right back to the main plan, queen takes g2. If rook to f1, queen takes e4 check again, and white is completely dead lost. Trap 9, Budapest Gambit Smothered Mate. Trap number 9, one of my absolute personal favorites, the Budapest Gambit Smothered Mate, another trap in the Budapest, but this time in a much more common line. Look, this trap isn't just about winning, it's about how you win. And a smothered mate is undoubtedly the most satisfying feeling in all of chess. It starts with d4, knight to f6, c4, and now you hit them with e5. White playing d takes e5 is their best move because anything else loses the center and their advantage. Now you play knight to g4. Greedy white players will try to cling to that pawn with bishop to f4. You play knight to c6, white plays knight to f3, and now you hit them with bishop to b4 check. White blocks with knight to d2, and you stack the pressure with queen to e7. At this point, most white players feel super annoyed by your bishop pin on b4, so they try to kick it away with a3. Big mistake, pause the video and try to find black's brutal sacrifice. It's knight takes e5. If white greedily takes your bishop on b4, knight to d3 is a legendary, mind-blowing smothered checkmate. What if they don't play a3 and play e3 instead? No worries, you just grab your pawn back, all your pieces are hyperactive, and you're in for a fantastic game. Trap 10, the fishing pole trap. And for our grand finale, trap number 10, the fishing pole trap, we started with the Ruy Lopez and we shall end with the Ruy Lopez, which is pretty fitting considering Ruy Lopez himself wasn't above using dirty tricks, like literally positioning the chessboard so the sun would blind his opponent. Quite the holy priest, that Lopez guy. It starts with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5, the official Ruy Lopez. You play a6, the main line. Some white players will trade with bishop takes c6 and you recapture with d takes c6. White plays short castle and now you drop the bait, bishop to g4. White plays h3 to kick your bishop, but instead of retreating you play h5, setting up the fishing pole. If white falls for it and plays h takes g4, you recapture with h takes g4, attacking their knight. White plays knight to e5 and now comes queen to h4. Guess what? White is dead lost here. They might try f4 to create an escape hatch, but you just push g3 and checkmate on h1 or h2 is completely unstoppable. Thanks for watching. If you learned a new trap today, smash that like button, subscribe for more chess tactics, and I'll see you in the next video.